Hi, gang. Welcome to Behind the Rhinestones. I am your host, Dinah Dare, and here I talk to some of the performers in the burlesque and cabaret world just to find out what goes on a little bit behind those shiny rhinestones. Please do like and subscribe as I am always bringing new content to you. Today I have an extra special guest, someone who is not normally on our side of the world, but while she is here, I've managed to snag some of her time. And so today I'm going to be chatting to one of the top performers in the world, Bettie Bombshell. Cool. Thank you so much for joining me today, Betty. It's lovely to have you.
For having me. It's so nice to be had.
And always, all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah. All the
You are for once in the same time zone as me, which is why I was like, hello, definitely. Although I say that, you've spent a lot of time in London and Europe the past kind of year and a half. How have you been finding it?
I love it. I mean, obviously, I'm very much enjoying myself and finding myself here so much. But yeah, I've been on this side of the world almost maybe the same amount that I've been in Australia. Um, and I feel like I've been making up for lost time because I have not spent much time on this side of the world. I would always go to the States and like over that side to tour. And I was like, you know what? Let's get it going. Let's come over here. I've got so many friends and family and like so many beautiful people that I want to see on this side of the world. So it's been gorgeous. I mean, I did not get used to it. I should say, experiencing winter on this side of the world.
Oh yeah.
Man, that was heaps. That was
Yeah.
a rough one. But hey, we did it. And I'm like, if I can do that, babe, I could learn physics or something now. Do it.
I think
Let's
you were actually in Scotland for winter because I saw you perform at Swamp Lesque actually in Edinburgh.
do.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, you picked the best place to spend winter, not gonna lie.
Listen, I didn't pick anything, okay? It was for me, but I've never, so in Australia, which every time I say this, people from this side of the world are like, no shit. We have a hot, stinking hot 45-degree Christmas. It is hot. It is air conditioning, light food, like it's just swelteringly hot. And it was my first time experiencing snow and like a cold Christmas. And I just think my body just didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, like it couldn't compute. And it got dark at 4 p.m. It just a lot was going on, you know? But it
Wow.
was incredible watching like like Christmas fall upon Edinburgh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As the days went on, walking to work every day through everything and just seeing like Christmas like fall upon the city. It was pretty magical.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, because if you're saying it's quite different for you, normally at home it would be a totally different experience having Christmas over here.
For real, like everything was different. I was not equipped. I had to go buy warm clothes. Everyone warned me, and I was like, I know what I'm doing. I did not know what I was doing. I, I really, honestly, hope to never have to do it again.
Don't blame me. I don't blame you.
You know, but I definitely enjoyed the experience. It was a big learning experience in how
Yeah.
much vitamin D I need to take like tablets every day. I figured that out as well.
Yeah. It's yeah, it's a total different vibe over here. But how are you finding like the scene over here compared to back home? Like is it much different? What way is it different?
I mean, like every single sort of place has their own quirks and like I don't know, stuff about it. People keep asking me what's my favorite place to visit, and I'm like, there is no favorite place. Everyone has their own little magic, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? And I think the scene, like every scene is obviously very similar, but there's just really interesting to witness the different ways people navigate through this industry in different parts of the world, what's available, you guys being so close to Europe and everything like that,
Hmm.
just traveling and darting around. And
Yeah.
we don't, we get that luxury in our country, but not outside of Australia very easily. So it's really interesting to see how people navigate that kind of stuff. There's obviously you know, in each city, different like kind of business practices, or sometimes in one city, like in the UK, for example, there's a lot of like dinner show kind of stuff here.
Hmm.
It might not be that way anymore because I know things are rough, times is hard, but
Hmm.
it's very, you know, um, grand hotels and beautiful, luxurious kind of places, which I find really interesting because obviously you have really old buildings and we don't have those. So
Yeah.
there's a little bit of a difference there. But the
Yeah.
scene, like the scene as a whole, everybody in this UK, Europe, like scene is so wonderful. Everyone is so welcoming and stunning.
Mm.
People just be coming out to gigs and on a Tuesday, you know, and it's wonderful. I can go and see my friends at some little basement bar and then go see a West End show. And I really love it here. I think everybody is really welcoming and accommodating, as far as I know.
You're like just putting that in there.
Just putting it out there, my experience. I'm aware that this might not be everybody's experience, but no, I really am so fucking grateful for this side of the world just being like, hey, get in here. It's so wonderful, you know, to just be able to come in and whirl and dance and create art with everybody.
I think we love the big. We're like, come over, come
Yeah.
hang out.
And we're like, okay, please. We're gonna have to come for like a month. It's really expensive to get here, you know.
Also, that's a hell of a long flight. Like, how do you survive that and the jet lag?
So I have this my superpower, my secret superpower. It's not secret,
Oh.
everybody knows about it, is I can sleep anywhere. I am constantly on the verge of sleep most moments you see. Like you give me 3 seconds and I'll fall asleep in this chair right here, you know what I mean? It's my secret superpower, a blessing and a curse, you know what I mean? So on a plane, I genuinely, on the way over, I flew into Switzerland to go and do Misty Lotus's show. And
Hmm.
I think I slept the entire flight because I had a window seat. So I
Yeah.
like have my big fluffy jacket and I made a little bed and I slept for like 25 hours. It was heaven. I got in, I was not jet lagged. I don't know how I skipped it. I skipped jet lag.
You just bypassed it.
Didn't have it. It just didn't happen. And Misty kept saying to me, like, I'm terrified about your energy levels. Like, I'm freaking out right now. And I was like, same, but I don't know.
There's an element of adrenaline as well. Like I've done the States a couple of times and it's literally like I fly over for a weekend and then back. And I'm just technically jet lagged the whole weekend, but the adrenaline is just like, mm.
This is the thing. And then I think, because I was so excited when I got there, all my girls were there. I was like, everything's great. And we just kept go, 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 go. And I think that the adrenaline obviously like kicked in. I'd slept a bunch on the plane. I just see it as a really big sit down. Like I love a good sit down. I don't have to answer any emails because the Wi-Fi is always terrible. And like this is my chill time. And then when you land, the adrenaline kicks in and overrides the jet lag until you just like assimilate and
Yeah.
you're in. That's what I'm
That's
telling.
a pretty that's a pretty decent superpower, kind of.
It's actually, yeah, when I tell people that, you can see the hate kind of pour out of them a little bit towards me. I mean, like, I didn't choose this superpower. It is, I can just sleep anyway.
Yeah. I'm like, if I go to bed, I'm out like a light pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But anywhere else, I'm kind of like, I'm too nosy. I'm like, what's going on? What's happening? Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, it's fair. If I wake up, I become like too excited to be awake. I'm like a
Yeah.
puppy. And I'm like, what should we do? And it's still sleep time. You know what I mean? Go to sleep.
But you're like, no, wait. Um, that's pretty handy. Well, it would have been handy, like obviously this week you've kind of put a post out and said that unfortunately you won't be competing at BHOF this year and sort of explained why. I'm not going to kind of rehash your decisions, but like, how hard was it to make that decision?
It was it was really easy and really difficult at the same time. I don't
Hmm.
even know how else to explain it in, you know, when something goes really quick but really slow at the same time, you're like, oh my God, how will we? I don't know. It
Yeah.
was constant back and forth. Like it was a constant back and forth. My partner was like, okay, okay, okay. Because I was like, doing it. Yeah. No, I'm not doing it. No. No, you know what? Fuck that. I am going. No one's gonna tell me where I go. And then I was like, that's silly. Don't do that. That's ridiculous. So it was this constant like flip flop. I spoke to so many people, like group discussions with performers and friends, and everyone.
Hmm.
Um, and they all respected if I would go or if I didn't go. Um, but it just felt correct.
Mm.
I landed on the like I don't think I should go there. I don't think it's for me. I mean, probably nothing would have happened and everything would have been fine and probably. But I also just don't feel comfortable traveling to a country that is actively trying to make people like me and the people that I love disappear. I don't know if it was any other country in the world, we wouldn't we wouldn't go. If it was anywhere else, say Japan, I don't know, we'd be like, fuck, we're not going there. I don't know, but it's just this like thing of the United States, of like North America, that, yeah, we gotta go. And I'm like, it's just not safe. It's not safe. And yes, most people are fine, but the fact that it's the most and not all is the problem for me. I can't go there and give money to this economy. And I don't know, my whole trip is boils down to one person, the customs officer that I get.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the whole in or out. There's nothing else really. It's the customs officer that I would get at the border. And if they happen to look at my tattoos and think something of me, then that could be it. I could be detained, deported back home, all my money, everything spent, no
Yeah.
reason. You know what I mean? And it's just not worth.
Yeah. Especially because you are a full-time performer. So you, if you're going over there and they look at what you do for a job, like it is immediately
Exactly.
obvious and
It's,
it puts you
it's
in that harm's way.
yeah. And exactly correct. There's no, not that I'm trying to hide anything. But there's all these assumptions that are kind of made on your behalf by these people that you're going to do this, that, and the other. And
Yeah.
even though, BHOF is not it's not a gig that you're paid for. It's a convention. It's a, you know, festival. It's a fundraiser. They don't care. They just see potential to earn money and then they send you back. And you can be banned from that country for the rest of your life. My partner is American. I, if imagine if I could never go there, and
Yeah.
family or anything like that. It's just not worth it, and it's just not safe, and it's getting worse day by day. And for me right now, like in the future, who knows? But for me, just like right now with BHOF, with flying into Vegas, it just all seemed like a perfect storm.
Mm.
Something the universe was just telling me, like, don't do this.
I think you, I mean, I said on your post, and I know thousands, hundreds of other people said the same, like you make the decision that's right for you. Um, And it doesn't mean that you won't be back. Like, if it's
Not at
there in
all.
the future, you want to apply again, like, it's still there. You can do that.
Absolutely. It's not, and the BHOF was so immediately wonderful. They were like, we get it. 100% we get it. No, like not even any like, they're like, well, you got to do what's right for you. And they were so understanding and so wonderful and assured me, this wouldn't affect anything or, anything like
Yeah.
that. And yeah, I mean, if I am ever to apply again, then I'll go, and if I get in, and in the future and all that kind of jazz. But yeah, I'm kind of heartbroken because there's a lot of Australian honeys heading over,
Yeah.
my very good friends that we were gonna be like, and from Canada and like all these other parts of the world that I was gonna, yeah, be with them, but it's just not in the cards this time.
And that's fine. Um, I'm actually attending for the first time ever this year, and it was something that we also, me and my partner, thought about long and hard. My partner actually works in diversity, inclusion, and equity. He's a consultant, so that job can put a bit of a bullseye on him.
Mhm.
So we've been very careful. We've looked at everything. We're actually flying to New Orleans first for a few days and then like as a holiday. And one of my decisions to still go was I'm not going to go near that country again until they have a change in administration. And therefore, I was like, this could, and we don't know the future of BHOF. Obviously, the museum's closing. So I've looked at it as I might never get to go. Um,
Never been to the museum. you have to go and see it.
Yeah.
It's a really special tour. It's a really special place to just go and exist there. And knowing, I'm quite heartbroken knowing that it is not going to exist
Mm-hmm.
anymore. You know, the whole, this is the problem with the whole I'll do it next time, I'll do it next year. I said this in 2019. I didn't apply for BHOF and I said, no, 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 I won't do it this year. I'll apply next year. And then the obvious,
Yep, 2020.
and then yeah, and then this year I was like, well, I've made this decision. I'm not going to do it. And then they made the announcement about the museum, and I was like, huh, okay.
Your
Like,
your decisions around BHOF are maybe cursed, my love.
I, babe, I have no idea, but I'm so glad that you get to go and experience that. And New Orleans is one of my favorite places in the entire world. It is magic. It is incredible. I don't know if
Oh, send me all your recommendations. I
I
just want
will.
to eat all the food, drink all the drink, listen to all the music. Like,
Go down Frenchman, you're gonna be fine. There's a jazz club up there called the Spotted Cat. It's my favorite one. Basically, any food that you eat in New Orleans is gonna be great anyway. And the Garden District, don't just stay in the French Quarter. Go to the Garden District
hmm.
outside of it.
The Garden District's on my list purely because I grew up reading Anne Rice vampire books, and that's all in Garden District. So I
Oh,
was like, I need to, I have to.
and that's where Dark Garden Corsetry is. Wow, did they close? No, they didn't close. They're still there. Dark
They
Garden.
are still there because I'm sure that's on my list. I was like, please don't break my heart.
No, it's on Magazine Street in the Garden District in New Orleans, and it's heaven. It's heaven. You just try on everything. They put you in everything. It's amazing.
Oh my God, I'll just spend a whole day there. That sounds great.
There's a gorgeous little cafe across the road as well. It's like a little mid. You're gonna have a great time. You're gonna have a great time.
I can't wait. Yes, send me things. But obviously the act that you were supposed to perform was going to be a very sort of queer, joyous, fun act. Like, how did you go about creating that act, and did it follow like, do you have a normal process for creating acts, or is it different depending on what happens?
I mean, the act itself had like I've found this with myself. I go through many sort of versions of the thing. Not always, not always. Every sort of
Mhm,
act has its own process and stuff, but mostly there's many different versions. So the all of my acts that I have, I like to call them just drafts. Every version is a draft. It's an act
mhm.
is never finished. I think if you think an act is finished, then you're not quite exploring everything. It's not, you're
Yeah.
not giving it everything it deserves. So that act started as something, same costume, different vibe. It started as there's the second song in the act,
Hmm.
Gay for Me. I did an act to that song because I wanted it to be this like queer joy kind of thing, cheeky little moment. And I was, it was fine. It was fine. And I kept doing it and I was like, it's not, it's fine.
Mm.
It's not the one, it's not hitting. And then honestly, the Barbie movie came out and I was like, huh, I messaged my good friend Ruby Slippers and I was like, what do you reckon if I did an act to Barbie Girl and I scissor Barbies? I haven't seen that before. And she was like, sounds about right. I was like, great, done. And I was searching for a version of Barbie Girl that wasn't the original.
Hmm.
And I found the one that I use, which is like heaven and everyone loves. And I didn't even realize that it was like an iconic version. Like as soon as I played, everyone's like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Totally good." But no, I'm obsessed with it, obviously. And
Obviously.
just it really just unfolded in doing it. When I have acts, I find that they develop on stage.
Hmm.
Obviously, I do. I should preface this. I come from a very strict dance background, so I plan to the nth degree of everything. So I know, when and what and how and why and all that kind of stuff. It develops in my head. I see it like pictures.
Hmm.
But then when on stage, I don't know, I just vibe it out and I see what works and I see what the audience responds to and what needs to happen and how I feel about it. And that's how it kind of pieced itself together. And now I
It
just
sounds
like
it sounds like so much fun. I've seen the clips. See, when I saw the first time you doing like the scissoring with the Barbies, I was like, oh, that's like a core childhood memory. Yeah.
see,
Hmm.
everyone's like, oh yeah. Yeah. And if people are like, I don't get it, I'm like, you're lying to yourself and you're lying to me.
Hmm.
And if you really don't get it, welcome. You're never too late. Never too late. Welcome.
Yeah, everyone did that. If you didn't do it, yeah, as you said, you're blatantly lying to yourself.
Yeah, you're like, come on, babe. Like, it's okay. You can be honest here. It's a safe space. It's a safe space. Yeah, honestly, that's how it came together. I just had it in my head and I was like, this seems correct. And honestly, now it's one of my most requested acts. And it was going to be performed at the Burlesque Hall of Fame. I was like, are you guys okay? Like, okay.
Did you, when you submitted it, did you think it stood a chance, or were you just like, fuck it, I love it, I'm doing it?
Funny story, babes. Funny story. I am very good at some things, very not at others. I thought that you could submit 3 acts for the Burlesque Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
You can only submit 2 acts for the Burlesque Hall of Fame. This guy. So I submitted the first act and I was like, cool, 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 done. I was like, yeah, maybe, who knows? I submitted the Barbie act and I was like, this will be a gag. This will be funny. Like, I like to give them different styles of acts because otherwise you're spending money to present the same thing 3 times. I think that's well, now we know twice. I think it's a bit of a waste of your time, you know what I mean? And their precious viewing time. They have to view so many things. So it's like, I'll do a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this. And I submitted the second one, which was the Barbie one. And then it was like, great, locked, you're done. I was like, straight up, I thought you could submit 3.
How
Lots of time. Like fully lots of times. I think it's my like 5th time that I would have been on that stage. But anyway, things it comes around once a year. It's hard to keep it in my mind. I yeah, and as soon as I submitted and I saw 2, I was like, they're gonna take Barbie. I just
Yeah.
knew it. I was like, that's what they're gonna take.
Yes.
Anyway, which I'm like jazzed about. I just was like, this is funny. And then they did. And I was like, y'all are hilarious.
It's a fun act. It's a joyous act. It's what we need.
Exactly.
Um, and
And
that's probably why everybody loves it. I know one of your other acts that everyone loves is your cowgirl act. I feel like you have brought back tiny hats to
oh, see,
burlesque.
I'm wearing the big hat now. I'm so sorry. I have no tiny hats with me. Shit.
You're letting the team down.
Sorry, don't tell anyone. I'll do better.
Um, I've seen again clips of that act and it looks so much fun. Did you learn whip cracking to perform with, or did you learn it just for fun and then you were like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this"? Like, how did that act come about?
That act again came from process building, building, building. I had it to a completely different song. It was a completely different vibe. Like there was nothing, it was to an MIA song. I had a rocking horse. It was nothing. I had no whips in it. Like it wasn't that at all.
Hmm.
But the more I did it, the more I was like, this isn't right. None of this makes sense. It's just not gelling. The track isn't right. I'm not vibing it. And I was like trolling through Spotify,
Mm.
trolling for like a long time. I actually had this, which would have been the worst decision ever. I had this like techno remix of Man, I Feel Like a Woman that I was
Okay.
use. And because I was like, it's longer and it's, I don't know, more party and stuff like that. And I'm so glad I went with the original because it's so fucking iconic. Why would you mess
Hmm.
with it? But it honestly came through my Spotify and I was like, yeah. And then I tried to look for the other version of it, found the techno remix. It's still saved in my Spotify. It's tragic. It's so bad. I'm glad I used it. And I was like, you know what? Don't fight it. Use Shania. Just go with the gold. But I learned whip cracking like maybe like about 9 years ago, I think. At Edinburgh Fringe actually, when I was at Fringe, there was like 3 days of sunny, and you know how everyone like, I don't know if you do, but everyone runs to the meadows, runs to the
Hmm.
park in the summertime if there's sun, and we're like, oh. oh, vitamin T. And my friend had a whip and was cracking whips. And I was like, please, 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 can you teach me? And they're like, yeah, come on. They taught me the basic like cattleman's crack and stuff like that. And I honestly just got really obsessed with it. I always wanted to crack whips. I always wanted to be like a carny, circusy. I
Mm,
grew up in a style of dance that had like a lot of props and like apparatus and like manipulation and stuff like that. So it just kind of calls to me nice and easily
mhm,
to use stuff with my hands while performing. But I got obsessed. I really did. And I only picked it up again like really seriously maybe 5 years ago. I had it like basic stuff. And then
mhm,
I just wanted to get much better at it. So I just, yeah, just kept going. And then it just, the whips and the act just, they just molded together. I'm sure when I was putting together the new Western like version to Shania, I was like, it needs whip cracking. I can't quite remember, but I'm sure I did that. But it just found its way together, got some hot pink whips, off you go.
done. Whip
Yeah,
cracking is like hard as well. I've done some like years ago. I done when I used to do circus stuff and I did like whip cracking classes and it's so hard.
it's really interesting because I don't teach whips, but I teach my friends if they want to learn and like mates and performers and stuff. But it's either you get it straight away, people just
Hmm.
get it, or you got to work at it. Like there's just this brain thing that happens where it's really, really interesting to watch. And people that get it straight away immediately want to learn more and more and more. And they get
Mm.
progressively more frustrated because they can't do it. It's just so funny to watch. But people who don't get it straight away, they just plug away just with the first. And it's so dedicated because it takes your brain kind of takes hold. You
Hmm.
can't do anything but whipcraft.
Yeah.
It's standing there like a robot, like doing this. But it's pretty tricky. It's like how I love juggling because it works these parts of my brain that remind me of ballet, working all these
Hmm.
different parts of my feet. And it gets my brain tingling, like when I'm doing like passes and manipulations and stuff.
So you've got multiple kind of sideshow and carnival skills there because you do fire as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that.
And yeah, and is that just, as you said, come from that angle of because you kind of come from that sort of background of circus where you're used to having props and you're just sort of attracted to it?
I think so. The reason that I took so easily to fire as well, I started learning fire about 9 years ago, and then I was too scared. I just didn't have it. I was too scared.
Mm,
I tried. I was like, no, 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 it's not for me. And then during COVID, I was contract was signed for a show, and they wanted me to do fire, and I love a challenge. So they were like, it'd be great if you could do fire in this. I was like, yeah, absolutely. So I found myself a teacher when I was living in Western Australia during pandemic and did weekly fire classes. I lived in a place where I could practice like every day.
mm.
I just got really good at fire. Again, it was like the whip cracking. I just wanted to learn more and more and more and more. And the thing about fire is once you don't have the fear anymore of putting it in your face, you're good to go. You can learn anything and the door is open. Um, so I became really, really obsessed with fire eating. I still am. I love it so much.
Have you had any unfortunate accidents? I actually used to, again, I have a weird circus background. I used to do fire eating as well. I'm just not insured anymore because
Yeah.
there's nowhere really to do it in Scotland. And I remember learning a trick and the fire blew back in my face and I basically destroyed my eyelashes, which was a look. Um, what's your most unfortunate accident when it comes to fire?
I have never had one, touch.
Oh, proud,
I
proud.
Yeah, I mean, your standard mouth burn stuff, your standard. I like to do really, really long, like we call it fleshing in Australia, but you guys call it
Yeah.
on this side of the world. But anyway, fire on skin. I like to do really long holds. So, you get a little tender bit. But I, yeah, I don't fire breathe. I don't do anything like that yet anyway, but I've never really had a big issue or a big anything. I mean, I've had the things where people have left air conditioning on in venues,
Mm,
and it's almost impossible to do my job, but you do it and you're like trying to fucking find
yeah.
the, the areas going. But yeah, no big issues for me. Talk to me in a week and I'll have like some sort of like horrific burn on my face.
I'll be like, please don't. I really hope I haven't cursed you. I'll touch wood as well. Um,
Forming fire in this side of the world, so it'll be fine. Um, but yeah, no, nothing like that. I learned fire because I always loved the carniness of it all, and then I just incorporated it into performance. And I really think that the longevity in the entertainment industry is truly diversity. It's
mm,
diversifying yourself, I should say. Um, Also diversity, but diversifying yourself. And I wanted to just be able to offer different things. You know, if somebody already had the burlesque performer, I'm like, hey, I could do sideshow element, or I could do this or the other, you know. And it keeps it interesting for me as well.
mm,
Learning new skills is like, I love it. I can feel my brain like tingling, you know what I mean?
yeah. And yeah, it challenges your brain. It keeps you interesting. It keeps you interested, which
Exactly.
is an important part as well.
Important.
Yeah. So your list of accolades is a bit as long as my arm. When I was purposely went onto your website before this and I was reading and I was like, I think you actually make a joke on your website, like if you've got this far, and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, women. So like, what have been the career defining moments for you? What are the moments that you've just been like, what the fuck is my life?
Babe, every day. God, I'm like, I take none of this for granted at all. I'm very aware, especially
Mm,
right now, of how unique and special my life is, because you know it's bit by bit it's becoming smaller and smaller and smaller, especially in London. All I'm hearing from
mm,
everybody is don't move here, don't come here, there's nothing here. I'm like, okay, I wasn't planning on, but I'm not, it's okay. But God, career defining moments, I mean, that things that are career defining aren't always like the big
hmm
massive, you know, moments, but getting booked, doing a show at the art center. So there's art center in Melbourne. It's got like a giant Eiffel Tower almost thing on it. It is huge, very prestigious, enormous place that has
hmm
housed the greats, you know, that come through that are from Melbourne International. And getting to perform there on my sort of, I'd say my first big contract ever was crazy. It all was very dramatic. It coincided with when I could leave. It was okay to leave Western Australia to come back to Victoria after COVID. So it was kind of like the first thing out the gate. It was my 30th birthday while I was there as well. It was the first time performing at the art center in this very prestigious venue, um, performing, you know, fire and whips and it all just culminated in this fucking thing. And that was a real career defining moment, because it's something I always wanted to do that, you know. I
hmm
was always just building towards these kind of bigger projects and things. And it finally happened, which was amazing. Show was wonderful, was received really, really well. We went on to tour it for years, you know, everything worked really beautifully. Um, I think like a career defining moment was, you know, my first time I went and toured in America. A career defining moment in understanding how small I was, if that makes sense. Not like I'm a newbie, but just really seeing the rest of it.
hmm
I traveled just on my own. I put together this tour by myself. It took me months because I didn't know anybody. And I was just like, I'm sure everyone was fucking annoyed and just pissed off with me by the end of it, and just was like, fine, have a spot, get shut up. You know, I was just like, hey, I'm coming, hey. And I remember just getting over there being like, oh, there's a whole ass world out here. Okay. You know, that was
hmm
a very like eye-opening moment, and realizing how just kind of like prepared but unprepared I was for it all. And the people that took care of me and were like, all right, come here, you idiot. You know, that kind of stuff. I mean, there's your obvious things like, you know, the first time I performed at the Burlesque Hall of Fame was just crazy. It was, yeah, very surreal experience. Performing in Vegas is something I always wanted to.
mm
and having the opportunity to do that. There was a really big group of Australians that year as well. So it was just like, when I say really big, there was like 6 of us. But in terms of how many Australians get in there,
Yeah.
we're all in the same room in the same comp, and it was just like Australian after Australian after Australian. It was really, really cool. And yeah, I last year got a very big contract at the Sydney Opera House,
Hmm.
which I performed at the Opera House before. It was a 2 week contract, which was amazing. But this show, 8 shows a week for, it was like 4.5 months at the Opera House, just real big time stuff, not like a
Hmm.
month contract here and then a break. And it's just constant, constant. And it was a very, I would say, career developing moment where I was like,
Mm.
hey, this is what this is now. Great. Next step into there, and learning that how to keep yourself going long term. And I'm not, music theater people do it year in, year out, 8 shows a week. I don't know how they do it, because after like 4.5, 5 months, we were spent.
Yeah.
It was spent. But yeah, and like, little things like performing. I was in a show with Julie Atlas Muse at the Slipper Room. When I was looking back on it, I had no idea what was going on. And I'm ready. And there's fucking Julie Atlas Muse, the icon, the legend, the diva, next to me giving me tips. And I was like, thanks, Julie, thanks, Julie. Like, just stuff like that, sitting on the roof of the Slipper Room, having drinks and smoking darts and talking to people overlooking New York. I was like,
Mm.
this is one of those. This is cool. There's just so many like little moments as well that really, I don't know. Hebden Bridge headlining that festival. That was my first international contract ever headlining.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met Lady Wildflower at BHOF the year earlier, and
Hmm.
yeah, and then she asked me to be a part of it the year after, and that was a real defining moment, because I was like, cool. All right, I get to come and meet everyone here and do it in
Yeah.
this capacity. There's just, there's so many, there's little ones, the first time I performed interstate in Australia, the first show that I did outside of Melbourne, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, the moments, like at that time, I was like, this is everything,
Hmm.
at one show.
But that's so important, as you said. I think there's so many smaller moments. Like the big moments are great, and the big moments are obviously the ones that people would think of or ask about. But it is those smaller achievements that
It really,
mean so much.
it's the little tiny things that make up the big things. You can't have the big things without the little things. They simply don't exist. And like, just,
Hmm.
yeah, like having people lend me pieces of advice and sharing things, or have inviting me, there was in Seattle, Jamie Von Stratton um invited me to be a part of this show at the Tattoo Expo over there. And that was such a big deal for me, because it was with all of that Seattle crew, which is,
Mm.
they're all icons, they're all legends. And there was me just like, hello everyone, so nice to be here. And just those like little moments of kindness, and
Mm.
just, nudging, introducing me to this group of people, so I could be like, hey, so nice to know you now, let's
Yeah.
be friends. And I'm still friends with them to this day. It's, yeah, it's the little bits and pieces, those moments where maybe you got something published in a magazine, or maybe, I don't know, an Instagram page shared your content or something, that you're like, oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for the recognition. It's awesome.
Oh, that's perfectly leads into my next question. I know, you're so good at that. You're like, here.
Okay. Okay.
You're talking there about recognition. You were, well, a couple of things you said about being like going to America the first time and being like, oh, there's so many of us. And then obviously talking about recognition, you have been voted a few times in the top 50, which is obviously primarily voted by your peers. How did it feel the first time and even the second, like, on and on? How does it feel to be consistently recognized on that scale by your peers?
I wild. Honestly, I constantly say this, and I truly mean it. To be considered at all in this industry, to be thought of at all in this industry, genuinely is so much to me. There are so many people. It could be anybody, you know what I mean? It really could be anybody. And to be kind of like considered at all and thought of at all is really special to me. And I really don't take it for granted or lightly. Um, because it could be anybody, you know, like the fact that people resonate with what I do and have some connection to it and can see themselves in it is really special
Mm,
to me. Um, and yeah, like when I remember I woke up, I remember it actually really well. I'd never been in the top 50 or anything like that prior to 2019.
mhm,
And I think I won Miss Burlesque Australia. And yeah, I woke up and I think it was number 11. I was like, because I looked at my phone, I had all these notifications. I was like, okay, something's going on, something's happened.
mhm,
And I just was sort of in shock. And I didn't really understand at the time. I did, but I couldn't grasp at the time, sort of, it was a global thing, you know, and meant that people worldwide kind of thought of me and voted for me and things like that. And obviously, the winning the competition definitely helps people see my work and all that,
mhm.
which was a wonderful thing. But it was like a full body chill. I don't know how to, like, a kind of thing. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, shit, this is incredible. And I was just really kind of like honored and overwhelmed and taken back that people, when they saw those 10 names you could write down, thought to write down mine. That's crazy.
Mm.
That's crazy, you know? Like, yeah, it's still, to me, I see my name on there and I'm like, you guys are wild. Thank you.
You're like, you're all crazy, but thanks. Well, it works for me.
Just, I mean, they're not crazy. It's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's bonkers to be, yeah, sort of in 10 people out of thousands, you
Mhm.
know, is really fucking special. And I'm just very grateful. Yeah, I really am.
On the other hand to that, do you feel that there is any sort of, sorry if you can hear my one of three cats that are decided to
No,
fight in the
go.
background, by the way. Like, I've just, one of them's just ran in the room and is screaming. So, um,
We have an answer for that question. They're like, actually, I'd like to chime in about
yeah,
the
very much.
eggs.
It's, it is the tiny lady of the house. She is a little diva. So that's about right. Um, Totally distracted now. So do you ever feel the other side of that, so that there is so many people that look up to you, that admire you? Do you feel that there is a pressure in what you say and do and what you put out there in the world from that? Or do you not think about that because it's scary?
They scare me, you know, that kind of thing isn't scary. I think that if you have people that, if you do something on purpose to, and you're in the public in any way, and you have people that do look up to you and do are inspired to you, you have a responsibility to actively care and to
Hmm.
not like behave in a certain way, but like give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, you really do have a responsibility. I've always said the more well known you get, the nicer you have to be. That's just the rules. That's the rules. Like, the more you have to give a shit about what you're doing, about the people that give a shit about you. I
Hmm.
really don't feel like it's a pressure, because anything that I say, I don't, it comes from a place where I truly believe it's the right thing. But if somebody, it happens to me all the time, somebody will be like, hey, can I just educate you on that thing that you said? I'm like, please bring it in. Like, help me learn, help me learn. It happened the other day and I was like, thanks, man.
Hmm.
Yeah, I really don't feel like any sort of pressure in that way around it, because I love connecting with people around this industry. I'm just astonished that I can inspire anyone in their journey. I think that's a massive honor. And anything that I put out to social media or talk about, or this interview or whatever, I genuinely mean it. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
not for any other reason than to be like, hey, this doesn't sit right, or hey, this is great, or, you know, I don't think any one person should be the law for anything.
Mm-hmm.
What I say is just my opinion. It's not the be all end all. It's not the only way. It's not even, it's just a way. It's just my way. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't think anyone should sit there and sort of take what one person says as the absolute truth. But yeah, I feel like a broken record, but I genuinely am just really like honored that people listen to what I say. Because I'm just a bit of a silly Billy, you know, but yeah, it
Maybe
doesn't work.
that's why people like you, because you are authentic, you are who you are, and you're just like, that's it.
Well, that's it. I think that's all you can be. I mean, you know, we've all tried being somebody else. It really doesn't work out the way you think it's going to be. It actually doesn't work at all.
No.
Might work for a tiny bit of time, but in the end, you just come right back around to who you are. Um, and that's a lesson in itself. But
Mm.
yeah, I mean, that's, you know, people say that to me a lot. They're like, you're just you. I'm like, who else could I be?
Mm.
I don't know. Everyone else
That's
is.
good. Yeah, everyone else is taken. This is more a question, a general one around sort of burlesque. Other than the economy, which we all know sucks, what do you think is sort of the biggest issue that we face in burlesque just now?
You know, late stage capitalism, but you said not the economy, so
I did, sorry.
yeah. No, also I should preface if I keep sniffling, it's because London, the hay fever is an amber alert today.
Yeah.
So I'm sounding real nasal up in here, just so you know about it. If I'm like, I apologize.
Didn't even notice, so
Oh
you're
no,
fine.
no, I brought attention to it. Shit, I didn't hear it. It's like when people say a lot. This is my But gosh, the biggest issue in burlesque, you know, there's a lot of them. I don't think there's one bigger than the other. The one that immediately comes to my mind is the call is coming from the inside. You know what I mean? The 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 industry, I'll start with the economy. The economy is fucked. Therefore, the pinch is being trickled down into the industry, which means
Hmm.
it's becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. But the pool of performers is in fact becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. The opportunities are becoming tinier and less frequent. Therefore, people are sort of competing for everything. There's this competition, there's this tension, there's
Hmm.
this, that's mine, that's not yours kind of thing. And I see it happening because people are just, I guess, kind of like literally fighting to stay alive, not literally, but fighting to stay alive in this industry. And I think it's creating all of this infighting, all of this competition because there's not enough work right now. And I don't mean to say that that's always been the case, but I see right now, I see venues literally just closing, shows
Yeah.
canceled, like stuff just like in a day, they're like, sorry, gone. And I think when you make, especially the entertainment industry, it gets smaller and there's less opportunity, people are just going to just fight to keep their head above water. And I don't really blame anyone for it. You know, I understand why this is happening. I really fucking wish it wouldn't happen because if
Mm.
we're all against each other, if we all win, right? Like
Yeah.
if we're fighting, we're not performing, we're not creating, we're not collaborating. But I do understand where it's happening because it's kind of out of their control. It's out of our control about these things, people's livelihoods, stress, relevancy, pinch on money, creativeness being squashed and stifled. I really do think the call is coming from the inside. And I said it in my interview with 21st Century Burlesque. I'm like, we just need to really, I think, look at the way this industry is run,
Hmm.
not because we want to, because we have to, because we're not getting help. No one's coming to our aid. No one's coming to help the entertainment industry. It's been made very clear, even at a very top elite level, like
Yep.
Hollywood, writers, films, things like that. We're just this niche little tiny industry. So I think we need to like really fundamentally look at the way that we operate and run these things and how, and I don't even know what that looks like. I'm not the guy to figure it out. I just think that there's just so much of this and there's so much of people trying to protect territory and being offended by things they've not even spoken to anybody about and acting out of hurt and competition, and you know what I mean. It's
Yeah.
it's just a really nasty energy, not everywhere and not all the time, but I see it happening more and more. And that I really just, it does lead from this is a business, as much as people hate when people say that. It is a business. Yes, it's a community. Yes, it's an art form. It can be all these things, but it is a business as well. And when you fuck with people's business, people get nasty. that's
Yeah.
that's something that I see. I mean, there's also a very strange thing happening where people are turning this into a business and not an art form and not a passion and not an honoring of anything, and just kind of charging people a bunch of money, promising the world within the within the burlesque world, and then spitting them out and then disappearing. And then there's these people that have been told that they should, hey kitty.
Hey,
Oh yes,
that's yeah,
doing a,
that's Silver. That's the middle child. Off you pop, lovely.
you can tell, just like, hey, hey,
He's like, I'm not getting attention.
sorry, it's just me, hey. Fair enough, I get it. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's just, I think there's a lot of people that have been promised the world, and then when they graduate or finish whatever they've done, and they don't get that gig immediately, then those people turn competitive, because all they know is what they've been told by those people that have trained them, that you do this and you'll be a burlesque performer. You know,
Hmm.
there's a lot of different kind of avenues happening, I think, and it really is looking like people are trying to make a living, take advantage of people, survive, whatever you want to call it. It's just the way it's running is just off kilter, you know?
Hmm. It's been a big topic for conversation in the UK scene, and obviously you've been in UK, you're probably getting exposed to that conversation at the moment. It's something that we're trying to change, but it's all you can do is advise people at the moment, because as you said, we don't run this. We don't have anyone with any sort of control or power other than we just have to sort of almost self-police to some extent.
Well, this is the thing, and I've said this for years. This is an unregulated industry, which
Hmm.
is very strange because, you know, I come from the dance world. You have accreditations, curriculum, schools, like there's laws around stuff, right?
Hmm.
Obviously, anyone can just teach whatever, but there are certain criteria involved. But when you come to this industry, it's really just a free for all. We don't have unions. We don't have we don't have kind of guidelines or parameters or somebody to turn to when things go awry. It's just, as you said, it's all self, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, run. It's just all self run, which
Yeah.
means that everything's essentially a gray area, and some people don't do the right thing because maybe they don't know, maybe they don't care, who can say? But it's everywhere. It's happening everywhere. And the more I see less shows happening and less opportunities like that, the more I see this kind of behavior happening, which is a concern. It's part of the reason why I started doing my in Melbourne, I do my solo development courses,
Hmm.
because I saw this happening and I was like, I would just want to teach people right. I want to teach them the right way. I want to give them the resources. I want to give them
Yeah.
everything I can to then go and not be the worst people, you know, and go and actually operate well in some,
Mm.
you know, and not just demand shows and expect the world. Have like a realistic understanding of what this is.
Hmm. Because it's hard.
Mate, it's hard. It is. And I mean, depends who you are. Some people might tell you it's not, but I've definitely sacrificed everything to
Mm.
because I love it and because I want to do it, but it's not an easy gig. You know, it's like when people just say, "Oh, I'm just gonna go be a stripper." That shit is hard, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not easy. But what about for yourself then? What does the future hold for Betty Bombshell? What are your kind of next goals? Do you do that? Do you set yourself goals?
I do. I have a wonderful manager who is a dear friend of mine and just incredible. Her and I, she's a planner. I love to plan, but she's a real planner. We've got a lot of big things in the works, which is very exciting. she's helped me immensely, like gather all the ideas, you know what I mean, and be like a really beautiful sounding board. Um, but obviously we didn't mean to, but we have launched sort of the Melbourne Festival of Tease, which is
Hmm.
going to be happening next year, which is amazing. Big, beautiful, wonderful things are happening in the background, which I'm very excited about. So jazzed. I'm just trying to make safe spaces for people to be excellent. That's it, you know, just
Yeah.
to do cool shit. And to be paid fine, you know, to be paid what they deserve to
To
be.
be paid, just stop there. That's
Hey, I'd love to pay him more. It's again late stage capitalism, but to be paid, you know, a fine wage. Um, I've got a really exciting, I can kind of announce it, but a big I'm heading to Canada, I should say, at the end of the year. I'm
Ooh.
headlining the Toronto Burlesque Festival, which is very exciting. So there'll be a lot more things around that haven't been announced yet. So
Mm.
can't talk about that, but I've never been to that part of the world before, as an adult, I should say. I went when I was like 10. It was, I don't remember it, but very excited to go see all my pals up there. Got some other big things, yeah, to announce. I was like, I can't actually talk about them. They haven't been announced yet.
Well, where can all our watchers and listeners follow you so they can see all these wonderful announcements?
I'm so glad you asked that question. I am so shadow banned on Instagram. It's like wild, babe. Like I didn't know you could be this shadow banned. Something happened in the past couple days as well, where I've gone from like fine numbers to like 5. It's crazy. Like it's it's so fucked up. But you can find me, and please fucking do, on Instagram. You have to type the full name, baby, the full name. It's the dot Betty, that's BETTIE dot bombshell. And then you'll find me only when you type the whole name in. And it's not Betty with a Y, because do I look like a Betty with a Y? No, I don't. No, I don't. On Facebook, it's the Bettie Bombshell, and my website is thebettybombshell.com.au.
And you have a Patreon as well?
I do have a Patreon, and it's the same. It's Bettie Bombshell. It's my fan club, which God, I love it so much. There's so much like stuff in there and stuff that I can't post on Instagram, even though I'm already
Mhm.
shadow banned. But you know what? It's such a beautiful like community of people just learning and helping. And I see the gag is I see people on Instagram posting looks and makeup and stuff, and I'm like, that diva's been on my Patreon. You took the tips. That diva looks amazing with like rhinestones and makeup tips and like hairstyling. I'm like, yes, it's heaven. I love it.
Oh my God, yes. So everyone should sign up to that, clearly.
Please. And you know what? If you just want to, there's like a $5 a month tier. It's just called Help a Ghoul Out. And it literally helps me pay my rent. That's it. I'm not doing anything lavish with these this money. It's to help me live. So I appreciate every single person that signs up. I really do. It actually helps me so much.
Amazing. Well, I appreciate you taking time to chat to me. This has been so much fun. So thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Sorry for all my ramblings. Once you get me going, I really get going. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
I love a ramble. Everyone always apologizes, and I'm like, it makes my life so much easier. I just sit here and I'm like, yeah, go, go.
Yeah, keep going. Keep,
Yeah, just keep going.
yourself.
But thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your time in London. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you soon.
I hope so. Thanks for having me, babe.
No problem. Bye.